27 Center. I'm your host, Kim Lalo, and we have got a wonderful show for you. I'm so excited. We have a very special spiritual friend of mine for many, many years, and she is here coming all the way from Hawaii to say hello to everybody. What I want to do is just remind everyone coming into the chat room, you can see us live on Facebook and also on YouTube. And we have the link set up for you. So if you're coming into the chat room, thank you so much for coming in, and you're allowed to ask questions whenever you'd like. We're gonna try to get together and get some readings done for everybody in the chat room as well. But first and foremost, it is October 5th, and we are trying to get this, the seasonal change happening here so that we can roll into our eclipse season. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to do a special show coming up for What's Up Astro, because we have had so many planets in retrograde, and now they're about to go direct. So we've got Pluto going direct. We've got Mercury that just turned direct. We've got Mars is also going to go retrograde. We got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm going to do a separate show just on that. So right now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we have in the house tonight, because I wanted to make sure that I got it right. And of course, it has disappeared from my view. So hold on one second. Here we go. Her name is Anu Grace, and she is a Crystalline life and business mentor. She's an international best-selling author, creator of Angel Light Hypnosis, and her work has been featured on Hay House Radio, MTV3, and Voice TV, among other popular media outlets. And her former radio show, Heaven on Earth, with Anu Shasta, was awarded both the Producers and Listeners' Choice Awards. She's worked with many high-profile personalities, including Diana Cooper and the Princess of Norway. And she's very good friends with Stuart Pierce, and so who has worked with Princess Diana as well. She's fabulous. She's a fabulous coach. She's an Atlantean Intuitive, and she has this way about her that she has an understanding. She gets a knowing. She gets messages, and she's very tuned into the angelic realm. I'd like for you to meet her because she is very close to my heart. Put your hands together for Anu Grace. Hello, Anu. Thanks so much for coming on the show. How are you?
Thank you so much, Kimla, for that introduction. You said so many things. Oh my gosh, so many wonderful things that I've got to experience as a light worker. It's been such an incredible journey. And meeting you many, many years ago on 1-2 Radio, and we'd had shows there at the same time.
Yeah.
And became friends and been like connecting ever since. It's been a wonderful journey in this spiritual realm, and I'm doing really well. I'm actually right now in California in my son's home. They live in California. I moved to Hawaii, so I'm flying back to Hawaii tonight, later at night.
Okay.
So thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
We have talked so many times back and forth, throughout our personal journey. And I was just kind of wondering, through our counselings and our books and our seminars, and you are huge internationally. I mean, you were born in Sweden, raised in Finland, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where our circle has widened, and so it's just a wonderful global now network that we're in. And I wanted to ask you and kind of catch up with you a little bit. What direction are you growing in now? What what is your passion and your kind of your pull that you're feeling now in the spiritual realm?
So the core passion always remains the same. I feel like I'm an Atlantean soul carrying the Atlantean vibration and working closely with the angels to helping helping us create a better world. We can see the world is going through a lot, and it's not over yet until we have a lot of work to do until we actually create that golden age. But I know that it's coming. I can feel it. It's up to us, of course, to create it. So what I'm focusing in terms of like my actual spiritual work, I have a Crystalline Goddess Academy where I mentor mostly women. There are occasionally men join the goddess team. And we use the legend of Atlantis to manifest our dream life. I feel like that's where the spiritual realm, like the spiritual ascension process and creating this golden age, it really starts from us starting to tune into what do I really want, who I want to be in my life, what kind of person do I want to be, what kind of life do I want to live, how can I make my life look more of like what I really what my heart truly desires. And I feel like that's where it starts. So learning the manifestation skills is a really basic, like fundamental skill that we all need to activate so that we can, bring in our dreams into this world and like dream beautiful things. Oh, I want this and I want that. Sometimes we think that those are selfish things, but those are actually the little stars, the sparkles that create this collective beautiful, each dream makes it a better place. So that's where we start. But then I'm also teaching women who then discover, hey, I want to have a business. I want to be a light worker. I want to be a part of this crystalline revolution where we're helping shift this world from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. So being as a healer or coach. So I help also spiritual like light workers to start a business and how to actually make it work. And there's a lot of light workers who want to do this work, but they just don't know how to market themselves. And so that's where I also come in to help them achieve that dream of building an empire of light, making a difference. So that's where my focus is.
That is so important because, I have found in my work that there's so many blockages for light workers that come in and they don't feel, or perhaps they have a blockage, or they haven't really, they're a little confused as to being in the spiritual realm and then doing a material business and being successful at it, and kind of putting one foot in and one foot out, and how to really strike their harmony and their balance within themselves so that they don't carry a lot of guilt, because
Right.
we were my generation, not yours, but my generation was like built on guilt. Trust me.
My generation is built on guilt too. The new generation is less, but there's still so much guilt floating around, especially when it comes to money and success.
Right.
It's like, can I be successful? Am I worthy of being successful? Is it wrong for me to sell my spiritual sessions and have money? Shouldn't that be free? There's all these like misconceptions about it. And it's really what it does. It's serving, if we want to talk about light and darkness, kind of those,
Right.
it's serving the dark side, basically. If we don't dedicate, if we don't start taking this seriously and understanding that light work is a profession, so we need to treat it like one, and that's how we can make the maximum impact.
Very good. Very well said. I love that. And there's a certain way about really taking advantage of the resources that are out there, and you are at the top of the list, my dear. So to be able to have some kind of direction, and I think the more people that are wakening up, the more people that are feeling these energies, or perhaps these codes that they were born with, are now all of a sudden activated, and they're blossoming. They have no idea, they have no direction. Shows like this hopefully is a little bit of of an eye opener as to where to go and what to do. And that's why I love all my friends coming in to the show to kind of help guide the way and really be a pillar of strength to the ones that are coming up. We're all on different steps to in our journey, and it's one of those things where when when you have an idea of what you want to do, but you feel as though perhaps, like you were saying, you're not worthy of that. Um, and how do you play with the big boys once you get out there and without getting crushed, or without doing that? Because it when you get out there, it is just like business and everything else. So
Right.
how do you keep aligned? How do you keep your heart in the right way when you are directing so many underneath you?
I feel like it's all about like feeling that mission. Like I'm so committed and so in love with the mission that I've received from the universe. I absolutely love the opportunity to be alive here on this planet at this time and do this work. And wow, this work is so much more than I could have ever imagined like 20 years ago when I was like having this dream. Oh, I want to be a light worker. It's been such an incredible thing. But how I keep myself aligned, I feel like, yeah, that gratitude and that service, like knowing that yes, I'm here to live my own life. Yes, the work life is a playground. I get to have my dreams come true. But where it's really why I'm really here is not just for that. I'm really here to serve and help, and just reminding myself of that mission and that why I'm here. I feel, and I have to remind myself in many ways. Like it could be meditation, it could be time spent in nature, whatever helps me connect with myself, like going deeper, going home. It's so loud. The message within me is so loud that all I need to do is really connect with myself, with my intuition, and then that kind of keeps me keeps me aligned. But Kimla, I really wanted to say, when you mentioned that, like shows like this, these are part of like massive part of creating golden age. And I have to say, it's inspiring and incredible that year after year after year, week after week, you always show up and you deliver incredible, like you are such a beautiful light in this world. And that like that commitment to this is, I just wanted to say that, like, well, thank you on behalf of all the souls in the world for doing this. That's what it is. It's about that commitment and staying in the state of service, right?
Right. Exactly, because there's somebody out there, that is going to catch one of these shows, and they're going to feel something, hear something that's
Right.
going to activate their codes or align their heart chakra, or they're going to say, oh, wow, that so resonates with exactly what I needed to hear tonight. And there's so many different topics that we do cover on the show. And yeah, the mission is to be inspiring, and the mission is to give information, but also to know that you're not alone, because a lot of people have no idea. They're frightened. They're afraid to talk to anybody about what they see or what they hear or what they know. Now it's becoming more well known, well accepted. If I remember, oh my gosh, I mean, I started studying astrology at 10 years old. So, I mean, nobody even knew what their sun sign was.
Right. Wow.
Much
That's
less
incredible.
Mercury
I did not know
retrograde.
that. You started so young.
Yeah,
Always been on your mission.
it's so funny because I mean, it tickles me when I hear somebody talk about, what sign the moon is in, or, it's Mercury retrograde, or I'm like, yeah, I love that. That's
Yes.
great. Yeah,
Hmm.
I absolutely adore that. And so it's getting out there more and more. Now, talking about you have a background and you have your own way. I think it's called angel light hypnosis. Is that correct? Yeah, angel
Yes.
light. So tell me a little bit about your specific way of hypnosis versus perhaps just your run of the mill.
So, angel light hypnosis is such an incredible thing that just came to me. This was when I first started light work. I originally started as a past life regressionist. I did past life regression sessions with clients, and angels, anytime I closed my eyes, angels were there, and they were like, okay, so let's get to work. What do you want to do today? And I was doing these sessions with my clients, and angels were showing up like, okay, so can we introduce ourselves to your client? We really want to see here. It was literally, they were so gently, lovingly saying pushy about it. And I loved it, of course, but they were like really there. And some clients were like, oh, I'd love to meet my angels. Of course. Oh my gosh, this is more than, like happy. And some people were like, angels? I came here for past life. This is weird. Is this some kind of cult? Some people got scared. Some people got like angels and past life regression. Obviously, it's a different person that may come to that sometimes. So what happened is I started saying to the angels, like, no, let's not do that, because I didn't want to make some people uncomfortable. And then, well, they suggested, okay, let's have this specific, separate session. And I called it like angel therapy or angel hypnosis at first. Or yeah, and because I didn't know what to, it was past life regression therapy, angel therapy. So that was it started off as I was using this past life regression technique to hypnotize a person. And instead, in the past life regression, you go like deeper down, deeper into the subconscious. You bypass all the your thinking, your surface level thinking, and you go deep into the memories of your past life you remember. So what the angels started teaching me, okay, let's not do that. Let's go up. So we started going up, and the angels started like doing this session. They really we created this session with the angels, session after session after session. I never sat down and planned any of it. It just like it was coming. And it turned out to be an incredible session. At first, it was about introducing angels to people, having them have a conversation. And today, I don't do sessions, one-on-one sessions, but I teach this method now to all my Lightworker students. And so what we do is we go up, momentarily we go to the seventh dimension, like really high vibrational place. So even souls that are never seen an angel or felt what high vibration feels, somehow the method that we use, it allows you to lift yourself up above all like earthly feelings so that you become psychic. So my clients become psychic in that moment. And so we can then see the angels, feel the angels, talk to the angels. We can get, angel counseling if we have any issues in life. We can manifest the future. Angels will help you create that ideal, like choose that timeline that really works for you and lock your energy into it. Or, your path, your relative or father or some person who has passed away, they might come in there, or unborn child, your twin flame. It's just it's just turned into all these years, and I don't even know, it's constantly evolving. The angels are all the time coming in and saying, okay, let's change that. And it's that's the story of it, really. So I say it's my method, but actually it was really pushed through from the angels.
Channeled. Yeah, I get that. That is such a different take on a lot of these different regressionists that I've talked to. Now, when you started your regression, life regression, past regression, did you run into people who were in Atlantis?
Yes, but it started with my first. I remember my past life first, and then I started, when I did regressions, a lot of my clients started feeling like describing the same things, and it was such a exciting, because I was like, oh, what is this Atlantis? Oh my gosh, it feels so amazing, felt so good. I felt so like my highest self. Like I was in a physical body in Atlantis, but I felt such a contentment and fulfillment and a high vibe that I wasn't feeling in my life at the time. And I was like, oh, my Atlantean self, teach me everything. And then when I was doing sessions with clients, they started having these Atlantean memories. A lot of, I've done probably like 100 sessions just on Atlantis. And it's very interesting. There are so many similarities that people basically describe same cities or same kind of things that we do and same kind of way of thinking. And it's been wonderful. That's why I like my Crystalline Goddess Academy. I share a lot of Atlantean like wisdom through that program.
Right. So I'm kind of curious, because the research that I have done about Atlantis always brings up Lemuria.
Yes.
The two very advanced civilizations that were on the planet, and located in different locations on the planet, but yet they had such similar basic, maybe they just had such a similar way of life that was very advanced, and they used a lot of crystal energy.
Right.
And I'm like, whenever I think of you, I always think of you with that little tiara with the crystals on it.
Oh, I still have it. I didn't bring it, but I actually have it here. Yes. That's my Atlantean high priestess crown.
I love it. That is so you. And I always think of you that way. And I always think, oh my gosh, she must know this inside of her Akashic records, how to, the alchemy, the crystalline alchemy that you're so good with now sharing, with everything. But when you feel like you've been somewhere, or you feel like, oh my gosh, I was a part of that, and it's so undeniable, and it creates such a push now here, where we're kind of at a lower kind of lower on the totem pole than we were before.
Right.
I mean, I would think that, oh my gosh, that is so frustrating for people. If I was anywhere, maybe Lemuria, but I don't have that big pull like everybody else, that I talk to. But how does it feel for you?
So Lemuria, actually, it's interesting because I am so Atlantean to the core, but I've also had not Lemuria, but more. I do remember. I don't remember. I have not really looked into my past life in Lemuria. I don't necessarily know whether I did or not, but I do know that I had a past life in Mu, but it was a mermaid. So, and we did come to land. So I don't know if it was 2 lives, but it felt like we came from the ocean and then we lived as people. So it's a very kind of scattered, that memory. But what I know about, so now when I live in Kauai, it's the heart of Lemuria. It is the Lemurian mountains are in Kauai, and all the people, a lot of the people who are attracted to Kauai, everybody's talking about Lemuria. I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm Atlantean. Can I come in?
That's funny.
Because but we get along really beautifully. But there is historically this assumed kind of conflict between Lemuria and Atlantis, and it's only because of the spiritual level of awakening that we've had. But Lemuria is this sacred feminine energy, and it is that creative power. So a Lemurian life in Lemuria, people were very like spiritual and earthbound, like nature and you know, drumming and crystals and all that. And the Atlantis is all about okay, how do we now activate our DNA and ascend and have the high technology and all of that. Like Atlantis was looking at this spirituality from a different perspective, from a more sacred masculine. So so now today, actually what we're creating, why there is a little bit of like a chaos also, I feel like from this perspective, we are starting to merge. So Lemuria and Atlantis are merging. That's why I, as an Atlantean, I'm so drawn to Kauai, to Lemuria, because it's time for me to be both, and for the world to be both, to bring that sacred masculine, sacred feminine, and marry, create that union where the yin and the yang, where we create that tai chi, that harmony in the world, and change the way things are right now. And you were saying like the energies have gone down, like it feels like we're at lower frequency, but I see it as a cleanup. You know, when you move from home to another, you go through a mess and all this, you know, you got to throw out stuff that, oh, I still have this, you know, you go through closets and you have to get, you know, everything like the old dirt, and you start looking at your like some old paperwork and like, oh my gosh, and it's like old energy, like, oh, I need to throw away that. And that's what we're doing globally, energetically. That's how I see it, that this is like kind of a moving situation, that we were in a comfortable world before, kind of comfortable and going like kind of more predictable, and now the past 3 years or so, we've been in a like a really turmoil. So it's like chaos, but eventually it's going to, no, we don't know how long it's going to take, but I don't know, maybe as an astrologer, you have a better idea on that, but maybe there's some signs. But I feel like we're creating that new golden age, and it just takes time, and we just need to be committed, but to not to feel like, oh, we're going the wrong direction, but we're going the right direction. We're just in the middle of the move, moving from house to house.
Yeah, you know, that's a good analogy, actually, because it's, you know, it's one of those things where sometimes you know, it's kind of like the crab in the shell. You kind of grow out of where you are, and you know, you leave that shell and you crawl into another one that's bigger, better, or you know, fits you or fits your style, or you know, just the vibe that you're in at the time, or what you want to experience. Let's put it that way. What I want to experience, you know.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so and the big underlying elephant in the room, no matter what civilization and what time that you've experienced on the planet and how many lifetimes, is karma. And so every time we go and we, you know, are in between worlds, in between lifetimes, we have lived one life and we're in between life and death. And we're looking and we're kind of reflecting on what we've done and what we're going to do in our next lifetime. I just feel as if, and the vibe now is that, you know, we don't want to be slaves anymore. We don't want to be slaves to money. We don't want to be slaves to our job. We don't want to be slaves to the government. You know, we want freedom. And, you know, 200 years ago in the United States, you know, was a great attempt that, you know, as being an American, we're all living under, we want freedom. And I just feel as the core of this is, I don't think we'll ever really feel freedom unless we abolish karma. And that's huge. That's a huge chaotic
Right.
experience. But if you are completely going back and, and perhaps you can do this a little bit better, well, we didn't finish this. So now, you've got to go back and finish this and blah, 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 blah. And so now, you're constantly in this little hamster wheel that you're turning. How do you feel about that?
I feel the angels are like, karma is only in your mind.
Right.
So,
That's it.
yeah.
That
So
is it.
karma comes from guilt, from attachment, from bitterness, from those kind of emotions that keep you in the learning, the lesson cycle. But so yes, karma very much exists, and it can go on from a lifetime to another, and it can be basically like a never-ending cycle. It's seemingly never-ending until one day the soul decides, you become aligned, and it's not a pay for your sins kind of thing. It's you realize, you understand that you are already free, and you are here to be, a shining light. Basically, you have that kind of I think it's a certain type of like enlightenment that frees you from karma. So the universe doesn't impose anything. God doesn't. That's how I'm getting it. That it's not like something that we have to deal with. But as long as we are not there yet and fully aligned, yes, there's karma and there is always consequences. But think about this. We are, as manifestors, we're constantly that today, with my thoughts and feelings and actions, I'm creating my tomorrow. So my future self will look back, oh, I'm living this kind of life because I did this. So it's kind of karma, or it's kind of karmic. And sometimes things happen, that we can't pinpoint why and how this happened. It could be from a past life, but we kind of like have that. But if we really become powerful manifestors in terms of like, we really clear our energy, we crystalline our thoughts, we crystalline our emotions, we become clear, like clear beings of light, the way we're supposed to be here. Then we don't have fear of the future. We don't hold grudge from the past. We don't judge other people. Like there is the karma can't attach. So the cause and effect is I'm clear, so I'm creating a cause to be clear in the next moment too. And that clear energy creates beautiful things. It creates things that universe naturally brings, this beauty and blossoming and expansion. Those are like the natural things that start coming out when we get our out of the way, and we're not holding on to, oh, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe this is not going to happen, oh, but that person is like that. Like all those things are the ones that are creating that karma. And if we do bad things, of course it creates it, but it doesn't have to if we change our vibration.
Interesting. Yeah. You just come to the realization, I was, the more research that you do and the more things that are going on, you realize that, war is just not only on this planet. War has been on many planets,
Right.
and
Yes.
many universes, and in many different dimensions as well. And I'm thinking, can't we just have a break on planet Earth? We've been warring and warring and warring, and oh, come on, let us experience, the golden age at least for a little bit. I'm
Yes.
like, I want to be around to see that, the warring.
I'm so tired of the war and the disease and
tired of it.
all that poverty
Yeah,
and all that. But you know what? Some people are not, and we are co-creators. So
yeah.
What
Yeah,
do we
and
do? We
there's
just try to
there's
make everybody be on our side and say, yes, let's be happy. But some
yeah,
people are not ready for that.
they're
Just
not, yes, they're not going to learn through happiness. They're
mhm.
going to learn through all of the other choices that there are at the moment on the planet.
Because they're so
However,
attached to their unhappiness. They love it too much.
yes,
There are a lot of
yes,
people like that, unfortunately. I mean, it's harsh to say this, but it is it's a reality. There are people who are attached to always being, sick so that they get compassion, or some people who always want to be angry at each other so they get attention. And there's like all these like things that are forces within us that are playing, and it will never change until the vibration is shifting
yeah,
within each individual, basically.
right. And that's what's so great, I think, about meditation. It shifts into new pathways,
Yes.
neural pathways that you literally get new options, new choices. It's like, oh, a new boutique is over here. Never
Right.
saw this one before.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
It's just new things. I like that, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden, those new things are going to make you feel comfortable with joy and with happiness and love. And some people have never experienced that before. So I,
Right.
yeah, I totally get that. Um, so a lot of people say that as you are going through and you're doing your whether it's past life regression or hypnosis in a way or whatever that is, that you are prepared for your next lifetime in between the life and death situation, and 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 your guides prepare you, and when they prepare you, they, would you like to experience being a leader, or being a musician, or doing something like that, and that they literally have what's called imprints that they allow you to choose from akashic records that are open. um,
Yes.
it could be unconditional love. It could be solitude. It could be a lot of different things. And so you get to choose imprints that serve as memory, because it's just like you lived it. It's just like you've been there. But you receive these imprints to basically help you along your journey subconsciously, and your new experience that you have decided this is the way you want to learn your next lessons, and that kind of a thing. So when you're taking somebody back or you're hypnotizing somebody, how do you know it's an imprint? How do you know it's a real life?
Instead of imagination, right?
Right.
So imagination, this is an interesting question, because what is imagination? Let's talk about that. Imagination is how God speaks through us, how angels speak through us, how our soul speaks to us and through us. Imagination is so much more than just imagination. So there is this type of like creative, like when you are, let's say you're actually in a past life regression, it's incredible brain power if you can create an imagery story that surprises you along the way, like, wow, this is happening. And all I'm experiencing this is, what is going on? Is this my imagination? Like, how do you create so consciously a story and the lesson that doesn't have true meaning? So I feel like whether you believe it's a real past life or imagination doesn't matter, because imagination is a divine tool, just like intuition. It's a powerful tool for us to get in touch with what's on the inside. We can use imagination to manifest. So basically, even when we manifest, we're not imagining things just imagining. We are tapping into the spiritual realms, the soul realms, where our soul has already lined up stuff and experiences and things for us to have. And when we imagine things, it's like we're reaching for that, like that whole category, like catalog of things that we put there before we were born here, or we just like our soul continuously creates, and we bring it from the spiritual to real life things, whether it's stuff or people or experiences. So again, it's imagination that we manifest things, but it's not coming out of nowhere. It's coming from the soul, like our dreams come from the soul. And same way, I would say the past life regressions. And if you meditate and you invite angels in, you see an angel, the angel is there. And if you created it first, that means you manifested. And an angel that fits that exact description is going to rush to you and come to you to meditate and become real. So it's either you see what's already in there, or if you create it, you're calling it in. But yeah, does that make sense?
That makes sense. And the imagination I get is one thing. The imprints is a little bit tricky for me, because imprints, are like that was like a lifetime that you lived, and that's why I think going through the Akashic records are real important to go along with your regression as well. Let me ask you, since you are this Atlantean crystalline goddess, I want to hear about your crystal collection. I want to hear about the energy of crystals. I want to hear about how you work with them, and all of that. You're kind of in the dark, so we can't see you.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry about that. The sun is like hitting right here, and I am not.
Well, that would be good, actually, if the sun hits right there.
Yeah, it does. It's like it's blinding me. It's coming in, but it's not showing in the. So I do apologize. I don't know if you can.
Okay.
And I have a light here too, but it's just too bright in
Oh, that's
here.
better. That's kind of better. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So talk to me about.
But it doesn't matter. Crystal energy matters mostly. But yes, I do apologize that. Crystals. So I work with crystals. So I do love to have crystals. I always have crystals with me, as jewelry or around me in my home. And this is my co-worker. We always work together. This is a Lemurian seed crystal. And it's always by my side. And it's kind of like my sword of light. Like if I need some power, it's like, okay, let's go and create this better world. Are you with me? It's the one that gives like, okay, let's do this. We can do this. And sometimes it gives like really powerful information. So but I don't, I'm not in terms of like a crystal, expert in the sense that I know all crystals and all about the crystals. I have certain crystals that I really love to work with. So the Crystalline Goddess Academy, yes, we work with crystals, amethyst, rose quartz. Those really common crystals are really my favorite. Larimar, lapis lazuli, like those common crystals are really powerful. And my most recent favorite crystal is I can't even remember now. It's such a new crystal. It's like that pink emerald. I don't know why. It's like it's just a new one. Anyway, so what I wanted to say is how I work with the crystalline energy. Crystals are kind of a representation of the symbols. These have been growing underneath the earth for millions of years, so they always maintain their shape, their own energy. They're like constant. So whatever let's say an amethyst has full of wisdom, and it's been that same wise crystal for millions of years. It never changes. It's always that. Like people are like, oh, I'm happy, oh, I'm sad. Like we have like these ups and downs, or sometimes we're higher vibrations, sometimes we're lower vibrations. Crystals are always there. 100%, like they're always the same. Of course, they can get more tired. We need to maintain it. But basically, crystal is always the same crystal with the same healing properties. And so the Crystalline Goddess movement is all about us like activating our crystalline cellular structure, activating that light within, and just like crystals, maintaining it, learning how to maintain even when life makes you go up and down, even if your emotions go up and down, because we people, we still have up and down movement here. Or it could be like a little milder when you feel more solid in your crystalline vibration, but then you're like higher vibration and you can stay that way. It's not just a, when you meditate, you feel that high vibration, but then after the meditation, if you only do it once, you're going to drop, you're going to come down, and then you're back in like, oh, I got to pay these bills. And you start thinking these mundane, you kind of fall back. But crystals don't do that. So we can use them as like these guides. And when I have crystals with me, they always help me maintain that vibration that I built through meditations or through high vibrational thoughts, through my work. And so that's what I love about them. And about that crystalline, I actually was thinking before we started this show, how important I wanted to talk about this crystalline vibration and how important it is that we are actually crystallizing. And the part of this, our ascension process and us evolving as human beings from that guilt, from that lower vibrational, third dimensional energies of struggle and strife, we're shifting that. And that is that carbon-based cellular structure that's heavier, earthbound, and we are now becoming lighter and lighter and lighter through this evolution. Every human being is on this path, but some of them, some of us faster, some of us, it depends if you're doing consciously, if you're actually doing the work, you're ascending faster. And so we're shifting from that carbon-based like carbon-based cellular structure to a crystalline cellular structure, which equally sustains life. But what it does differently is now we have crystal cells. It's more like liquid crystal, but it's like crystal cells that hold light, and we can vibration of love, vibration of light, vibration of joy, gratitude, all those good feelings, peace, like on a more stable level. And that's what it allows. And that's how that's how I work with the crystals, and that's the message of the crystalline evolution.
That is powerful stuff, especially when you see results as far as, blockages dissolving, fear evaporating, and also a lot of the clairs start becoming normal life, whether you're, clairvoyant, clairaudient, all of these clairs all of a sudden start being activated. And and they're just part of breathing in and out. And this is kind of the new way of life. This is the awakening. This is, what we're, part of our strength, adding to our tool belt, so to speak.
Right.
And
yes.
and really kind of, I want to say it's like food for the soul. It's like glitter on your soul kind of thing. It's cool.
Oh yes, actually, I have to say that a few years ago, I started noticing like little diamond sparkles on my skin after doing a lot of crystalline meditations, and my clients have been seeing crystal. So they, and I did a test because I do like shimmery, I did a test for 2 weeks. I was just scrubbing. I didn't put any makeup. I didn't do anything. I was like, is this my makeup or or what is it? And it just kept and it's all over my body, and it shows up in the sun. Like when the sun, even now I can see it's little snowy little diamonds. So it's really interesting. And my clients have some of them. I was like, oh, now I'm noticing too. Like there's been, so I feel like this is like a physical, real shift that if we really meditate light and we're shining like diamonds every day in our meditations, it's starting to show on the physical skin. It sounds incredible, funny, and if we, yeah, you know, but yeah, it's happening. It's
It
really happening.
definitely is, definitely. And the funny part about it is the more sensitive you get, the more that your eyes can see beyond, just the matter.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and you can see the colors around people, and you can see them
Mhm.
shining. You can see where they have blockages. I'm not a medical medium, but you can literally see those kinds of things. Now, I can see that kind of thing in someone's home, being an activated feng shui consultant. So I literally can see, dense energy, or what I call uh, when they get together, and there's a blockage of energy that's there, that's creating a little bit of havoc within the home as well. Um,
Yes.
and what I'm hearing, when you're talking about this, but I'm hearing about the stories and going back from, the Greek mythology, and all of these kinds of stories are now really making sense, as far as, what really took place, in the transition, and migrating, and also, interbreeding into the different dimensions, and what was really happening back then. And because there's so many records about, the Greek mythology, I'm wondering, I keep hearing this, but I'm wondering, is there any kind of an association that you have with Apollo at all?
Apollo. No, but Athena is it's interesting because Athena seems to be like a really kind of tough lady, a tough one.
Warrior woman.
Yes. But I have so much like she came through me many, many years ago. I was actually at that time I was just getting started, and I was at Diana Cooper's workshop in Scotland, and suddenly Athena comes through. I'm like, what is this tight, like tough woman coming through? And it was Athena. And I remember that power that I learned from her. Yes, she's not she's her personality, or that vibration was very like assertive, very clear, very but she was a woman like in power, and I felt really inspired, that the kind of like energy that it kind of taught me some leadership, that we have to be strong within our lives to be like to really truly make this shift, from the 3D to 5D, that we do need that strength and that. But that's my experience with Athena. And I never forget it, because she really came into my body. That both, oh, it was so strong experience. And I learned a lot. I feel like that was a powerful moment about
Wow.
leadership in light, light leadership.
Right. When we learn how to appreciate, and the sovereignty that we have, it's one of those things that, life is a gift, and everybody says life is such a gift. But when you're down in the dumps and you're depressed, nothing's working out for you. It's very hard to see life as a gift. It's more like a
Yeah.
struggle, and a day-to-day rut you can't seem to get out of. It's like a big fog around you. But there was one thing that I thought was just so interesting, and that was talking about life as a gift, um, and talking about collecting all of these lives that we have lived. We may have been, there's someone in the chat room, if I may, for just a second. Janina says, the fact that you're bringing up Greek stuff, Hestia keeps coming up for me in meditations. The Vestal Virgins, there is no information out there on this stuff. Well, there's a lot there's a lot of information out there. Nobody ever talks about it because it's kind of the ancient thought. But you have these different eras, these different dynasties, and these particular, when, being an astrologer, you go back through Atlantis and Lemuria, and there are huge changes every 26,000 years on planet Earth. And we have just crossed the line into a new cycle. And I always say, there's so many cycles that are built on that particular huge, and I want to say cosmic cycle. There's one that's 10,000 years, there's one that's 20,000 years. And when they all line up, it's almost like a combination lock that unlocks the opportunity and a new dimensional possibility on the planet. And this is where, we are allowed to accept, new energies from all of the cosmic galactic world. But when you take these particular eras and these particular snippets of perhaps the history of how we got to, how did we get to 2022 in this particular time? There's something that always stayed with me when I heard this, and I want to kind of share it with you, because all of the lives that you have experienced, they're all put in and they're all recorded. And not only can we go back and see and go back through our records, but anyone else of the vibratory rate can go back and can take advantage of everyone else's records as well. And they can imprint lessons, and they can see exactly what was learned and experienced, just like you could experience that. So you living your life is going into a record that someone else can go through and live it and learn it and have it and experience it just like you did. So whatever you are doing, and you have to make this conscious commitment to giving the next moment as a gift to someone else. This is something that is just mind-blowing to me, that, if you just want to lay on a couch and not do anything, I get it. But I'm saying that you have the opportunity to live this life and give it as a gift to everybody else, to humanity.
Yes.
It's huge. That is huge. And you think your life doesn't matter, but it does matter.
It matters, of course. This reminds me of something my son said. He's 27 now, but when he was maybe 20 years ago, long time ago, he once said something like, well, Mom, I think, every person, like, it's the same person in a different time. So he had like this, I don't remember exactly the words he was saying, but it was so, I was like, wow, I have to meditate on that. That was such an incredible idea, that it's just like basically one soul moving from like experience to another, and you're never complete until, it's kind of like God living, that oneness, living life through every soul. So that way, when we talk about with oneness, from he's like, but child thought, he felt like it's just one soul going through all of these lives. Like every time you look at another person, you seeing yourself even either in the future or in the past, or like from a different life, but the same one. I thought that was a very interesting and beautiful thought. I want to share that because it's like a child's mind. Children are kind of attuned, and I had not given him that thought at that time. Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, that's crazy wild, wild stuff. Well, we've got we're already at the end of the show. I was wondering if, Janina, she's been offering all of these wonderful comments in the chat room. I was wondering if we could tune in and give her maybe an angel message.
Absolutely. See, yes. Okay. So I have actually, I've been traveling a lot. So I left my English. I've created Crystalline Goddess Academy, Crystalline Goddess Oracle cards, and they are in Finnish and in English. And my English decks I left behind accidentally in Finland. I was just in Finland for a month, and then here in California, so in Hawaii. So, but I have these Finnish cards, but I want to pull out because I feel like the vibration, the energy in these cards will bring out something, and then I will be able to tune out. So do you want to go first, or do you want me to pull a card for her? How do you want to do this?
Well, you're my guest.
Okay. Okay, Janina.
I usually let my guests go first.
My pleasure. Whew. Oh, wow. Okay. So you are ready for something. So this card, and I'm not going to read the card because it's in Finnish, but this is about living orgasmic life. So this message for you is to really look at life from a perspective of, really following your joy, really following pleasure, and allowing more pleasure and more joy and more connection into your life. And this card can be looked into, orgasmic. It could be, allowing yourself to have, more pleasure sexually, because sexual energy is really powerful. And when we let go of the guilt and the shame that's stored in our bodies over, thousands of years, and we fully embrace the sexual energy, it's really powerful in terms of manifestation and in terms of the ascension. So whatever you could, but also the orgasmic energy can come from things that just make these sparks inside, oh, I love that feels so wonderful, that's what I want to do, and follow that bliss, that ecstasy, and let life show you where you can get, because orgasmic energy is a very high vibrational frequency where you're really close to God, the universe, the source. Because when you're if we look at sexual organs, so this card goes straight to it. But if we look at that, it's really, of course, the modern world has confused sexual energy completely. We can see it in the media and what we in our how we see it perceived. But in its purest level, sexual energy is meant to be like opening a portal to higher frequency. So and you can have that from many different, it doesn't mean go and have sexual experience, but it's about seeking that or allowing yourself to have that high vibrational energy of complete bliss and ecstasy, and bringing more of that into your life, and see what that brings into your life. And actually I'm seeing a lot of angels, and I'm seeing a lot of blossoming around your aura. And I'm feeling oh, this is speaking to you, because I feel like your aura is starting to, just as this message is being delivered and the angels are by your side there, I feel like there's little flowers opening up. So something is hitting home here in this message. I don't know what it is, and if you're aware, I would love to hear it, how this resonates, and what maybe you have some ideas on how you can embrace this message and what it really means to you, because it means different things to everybody.
Wonderful. I love that card. Ah, I don't speak Finnish, but I wish I did. Holy cow. Well, I just did a whole spread for you, Janina. God bless you. I have to tell you, there's been a little bit of, should I do this or should I do that? And three different decks gave me this same card, and it's trust, trust, and trust. So when you are doubting yourself or you're thinking, no, I can't be feeling that, or maybe I shouldn't listen to that, it doesn't make sense. I'm saying to you, every teacher around you is saying, yes, you need to trust and that you are ready to go to the next level. It also says, remember who you are. You're coming and you're getting these flashes from things of a spiritual high priestess, and you still carry that energy. So they're saying, remember who you are, because if you haven't already, I was saying this at the very beginning of the show, that we are born with the four clairs, and sometimes they're just activated when you either have a trauma or you're misaligned or you're aligned. There's one thing or another, but something proves to be a catalyst that actually activates the clairs, and there you can't make this up, because here's clairsentient and here's clairvoyance. I mean, you're ready. You've got to trust yourself. You've got to know that that once you do, it's just going to be like getting on a bike or getting on the back of a horse. You're just going to go, and you're just going to go with it. They're talking about your sensitivity. You're extra sensitive to energies right now. So I would really, really suggest you drink a lot of clean water, because any kind of toxins, I mean, even when we're just talking about mold or dust or anything like that, is really going to have an effect on you. So I really want, and they're telling me cleaning chemicals, stuff like that. So you're just going to be very, very sensitive. They're also talking to me about shoes. You're going to be sensitive to dirty shoes. I don't know, but you're going to be so sensitive, wow, even when what you wash in your hair and things like that. So, but I feel like if you're not already signed up, please sign up for yoga. That is going to kind of put the emphasis on the breathing, and it's going to really, what I say, activate your auric field and really protect that sensitivity within yourself right now. But who gets 3 trust cards? Trust in yourself. You've got to trust in yourself and what you hear, what you feel. And now remember, when you come to that particular decision to be made, I want you to ask the question, put your hand over your heart, ask the question. If you are to go forward and the answer is yes, you will actually fall forward. So there you go. You will actually fall forward. You just ask your center and yourself that question. If you are not supposed to go forward with that decision, you will stay still or you'll go backwards. Okay. I mean, you know what you're supposed to be doing. You've got guides around you that are working for you and have your best and highest good at heart, and you can go ahead and trust them as well. Well, I hope that helped. I hope that helped. And it was delightful talking about all of this with you, Anu.
Yes.
How can people get a hold of you? What's the best way? You've got so many things going on. What's the fastest, best way if they want you as their coach and their mentor, and to really learn how to be the best light worker they can be?
So I would suggest coming over to Instagram. My Instagram ID is I am Anu Grace. So it's Instagram at I am Anu Grace. But also, if this topic of crystalline evolution is and Atlantis is calling you, I have Crystalline Goddess podcast. It's crystallinegoddesspodcast.com, or you can go to anugracecode.com/podcast. Actually, I have not updated new ones, but there is a whole season full of powerful information about Atlantis, about the different aspect of spiritual life that I feel like will be very helpful if this topic, things that we talked about, really resonate. So crystallinegoddesspodcast.com, and of course I am Anu Grace on Instagram. So I'd love to hear from all of you. And thank you so much, Kimla. It's been wonderful. And I do apologize for this lighting. I don't know. I have a light here, but it's not helping at all.
That's okay. Your inner light was just beaming.
Inner light. It's all about inner light.
It is.
You have to see with your heart, not with the screen.
I think we all felt it very much. So thank you so much for coming on the show. And, don't be a stranger. Come back, check in with us. Let us know what's going on. And how we can all get those little crystal tiaras, and we can all tune in when we have you back. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming along with me. If you would like a session with me, you can always find me at KimlaLowe.com. Until next time, may the angels protect you and guide you. Good night, everyone.